Hello and welcome. This is Linda. I'm so happy you're here. Today I'm going to talk about a little project that I used to do years ago. And when I was in a particular group of crafters, we had card makers, scrapbookers, junk journalers, and stitchers in our group. And every January we would have a get together, and which we called visions, and we'd talk about what our vision was for our crafting goals for the next year. And we would all make some handmade gift for our members, and that had something to do with visions and the things that we dream about doing, or ideas that we have in our mind to create, just little snippets, sparks of ideas that might be there that we want to elaborate on. So I made what I call vision rolls for my fellow members, and they loved them, and I did that for quite a while. And but that group dispersed after a time, like groups do. And so I haven't done it in a long time, but I thought, wow, what a wonderful project this would be for slow stitchers and for even junk journalers. It's definitely a wonderful gift for craft friends who diversify over several different crafts, like maybe junk journaling and slow stitching, scrapbooking, card making, those type things. And so I wanted to show it to you. This kit is going to be in my shop, and I call these vision rolls, a new generation snippet roll. And the reason I call it vision rolls is because it's designed to be used by the person that gets it, or by yourself if you make them just for yourself. Now, that's another thing that I used to do, is I used to create them up all through the year, and then they were all ready for me in January to gift out. But there were always some extras that I got to keep and use throughout the year myself. So they're wonderful for that. And to grab and go a little handheld packet of vision or inspiration, it's so much fun when you're on the go and you don't have time to just be inspired. You want something there to start with. So this little roll I put together normally like this when I gifted it, just wrapped it up, put a little motif of some kind that could be used in whatever. And now mine today, for the purpose of this video, I haven't finished everything, but I will explain that as I go. But it would be just kind of wrapped like that, and a little thing like there. And then it would have to be, unrolled, of course. And when you start unrolling it, then the little visions come into play, little snippets of things that we could use. Now, when I created these, I created them specifically with the person I had in mind. If it was a junk journaler, I created one way. I've finished it out because a lot of junk journalers that I knew didn't know how to hold a needle, so they couldn't finish the piece out. If I created it for a slow stitcher, then I simply created the design, thread tacked it, and left it alone, because slow stitchers like to do their own thing. They like to add their own stitches, their own embellishments, and finish out pieces themselves. For card makers, I would do a little bit more finishing, but not completely, because they also like to add elements to that. And scrapbookers, or I did the same way I did junk journalers. I tried to finish them out. So I designed them individually as I was creating for gifts. But for myself, I can just create the little visions, individual visions, and then thread baste them onto the background piece of fabric, and they're ready to go. Now, these new age snippet roll is designed to be cut up and used. It's not designed to just be kept on its own as a little art piece. It's designed to be used. So in between each little piece that I make, there's enough space to cut. And I do like to put it on looser weaved fabric in the background so that if I want to leave it on that, I can fringe that out and finish that off. So here's one little vision on its own, and it has some beads on there, and but it doesn't have any finishing stitching or anything like that. It's simply thread basted to this background piece. Now, what I do, and I am going to do on the kits, is down this roll. These rolls will be approximately 2.5 by 24 inches long. And so down the roll, I will machine stitch 2 or 3 longer, slimmer pieces, and then allow you to design your vision pieces that fit in between those and position them on your roll. You can do these, of course, any size you want. The whole thing can be one vision piece, or you can have multiple pieces that can be cut apart and used. But this one is machine stitched here and ready to go. It's all fabric. Okay. Now, if we keep unrolling, we have the next 2 pieces. Again, here's one that's done in just little snippet pieces, and here's another one that is done. Now, this one is tacked in. It's not sewn in, but it's done with all basically laces. So you can see there's different elements. This one has even a little paper in it, which is great. You know, junk journalists love paper elements. And we keep going, and we have 2 more. And again, here's a little paper element in this one. This one is machine stitched on the strip, and it's ready to cut and go. Okay, and then we have the last 2. Again, another one here. You can see it's just layered up with bits and pieces. And then this one here, and has a little bit longer with a little flower motif in the center. Altogether, there are 8 different elements down this roll. 24 inches will accommodate that very well, with elements that are not too tiny, but big enough. Let's say this one is 2.5 inches long and 2 inches wide. This one would be 3 3/4 long, at least 2 inches wide. Each one is a little different, but they're not so tiny that they can't be used just like they are. But as you create out of a kit, like I said, 2 of these elements are sewn on, but you could make little tiny ones in here, bigger ones, middle-sized ones, whatever, however many you wanted to add on to a roll. And of course, that's a lot of time is just determined with what you've got to work with. And so in the kit, I will make sure that you have lots of choices. You will have fabrics. You will have snippets of different interesting motifs. You will have threads. You will have fibers. You will have ribbons. You will have just a lot of stuff to work with, because you will be creating these different little vision windows yourself. So, and then attaching them to the roll that comes in the kit. Finishing them out to the extent that you want. Again, that's really determined about if you're going to keep it for yourself or gift it away. Now, one of the reasons that I loved making these so much during those times was that all during the year, as you know, I work out of tubs of just stuff, snippets of stuff. And so all during the year, I could use up, because it really accumulates over time as you're creating, and I could use up lots of those elements and not lose them and not let them get damaged. And by creating these little motifs along and then sitting down and making a roll, you could sit down and make a roll, I mean, in the same day. a morning or an afternoon. You could complete one, use up a lot of your snippets, roll it up, bag it or tie it up and put it on your shelf. And it's ready to go. It's ready to gift. It's ready to use yourself. And when you get a shelf full of these, it's really a lot of fun. And they're pretty too. They're like a decor element on your shelf. But it's fun to go back later and grab one and open it up and think, oh wow, I don't remember that. And yes, I love that. And that's just great for that. And you'll just be inspired, and it will do what the name says. It will give you visions of things that you can do with it. So I hope you get a little inspired with this idea. Either make your own, or of course, like I said, the kits will be available in my Etsy shop. The reason I think the kits are going to be ideal is because so many people do not have such a large stash of different diversified fabrics and items as maybe I do and a few others do. So when you get to work out of somebody else's stash, it's all fresh, new things to you. It's things you don't have, never seen, and so forth and so on. So it's a lot of fun to work with a kit that way, and then put together your roll the way you want it, and keep it or gift it, however you want to do it. And right now I'm going to keep these kits in approximately a 2.5 by 24 inch roll. I have made bigger, larger ones, but I think for a fun project, especially if you're going to be making them for gift giving, that's quite enough on its own. And then roll it up and tie it up pretty and gift it, and see if you don't delight somebody with a vision. Thank you so much for being with me. Until next time, bye-bye.